How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi. Welcome to another episode of Tier Talk. Guys, great dialogue coming our way. Are we a family? I mean, do we really care for our brothers and sisters behind the wall? Or has family been a term that we use to motivate behavior that's in conflict of what's expected of us in our professional role and sworn duty to protect and serve? I think it's going to be a great topic. Again, having Russ on to discuss this topic is obviously this hit home for Russ too, because we do believe in the family mentality here in corrections, but we also want to make sure that that word family is not being used in a way that conflicts with what's expected of us in this trusted position. Hey, Russ, how's everything going, Russ? I know Keepers of Chaos is pushing its way to 5,000. And which is, by the way, a great achievement. Guys, if you get a chance, if you're on Facebook, please join that group. It's a group that really has a good influence on this profession. If you're from the outside looking in and you're looking to join this profession, there's a lot of people that you can connect with who's going to give you the true play-by-play of what it's like to be in corrections. But Russ, do you mind introducing yourself to our audience and giving us some updates?
Oh, absolutely. My name is Russ Hamilton. I am a former and retired sergeant from California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Started my career way back in 1989 at San Quentin State Prison. I eventually started working for a juvenile detention facility out here in California. And I currently work for a private company that supplies reentry and rehabilitation services to a local jail for inmates, probationers, and parolees. I am the founder of Keepers of Chaos, where our focus is on the profession and professionalism in corrections. Great, training, content, history, and really focusing on that word professional.
Yeah, now, Russ, this topic is obviously important to us because a lot of people enter this profession because they do look for that family. They do look for that bond, and they may not have that bond on the outside. So in the profession, there's something about being in the law enforcement profession, working in corrections, working as a police officer, because there's sacrifices that could be made. And I believe in this profession, having the word family helps motivate us to make those tough choices, to jump into a code and save someone's life. I recently came across a video that was in the business world, and they were talking about that, in I guess, I don't know if it's based on like organizational theories or whatever it is, but that you're not a family, you're a team. And it's like, I get that, but in corrections, in police, like the law enforcement community, where you have to sacrifice possibly yourself to save somebody else, having that word family is a great motivator. It motivates you to respond to things that most people wouldn't respond to. So I believe that the word family does matter to us. I remember being in the academy, and when we were getting ready to leave to be sent to our facilities in Jersey, you go to the academy first before you get released to your assigned facility. They brought us together and they reminded us of how important we are to each other. And really what connected me to this profession, that kind of, you don't want to make a bad choice, is the word family, because now not only are we stronger together, but your responsibility is for each other. To me, I get the word team, but family adds that oomph that says, you know what, that's my brother, that's my sister getting assaulted. Open up the gate, let me in, let me do what I got to do. Let me protect them because I know they would protect me. So, Russ, right off the bat, the word family in our profession is a great motivator. Would you agree?
Yes, it absolutely is. And, that's one of those things where, it comes back to, the nature of what we do. We do put ourselves on the line each and every day. We do, hang it all out there. We do take a lot of risks. And a lot of what we do on a day-to-day basis is a sort of risk management. And I think that we all know, we all expect, and we all put forth that effort that each and every time the code is called, we're not leaving anything behind. There's no effort left there. We're not half-assing it. to get there. We're running full bore to make sure that we get there, to be there for each other, to save each other, and to, put down whatever potential dangers, exist at that moment in time. And so, it's not just like going to the office and clocking in and standing around the water cooler. And, the worst thing that can possibly happen is, we get our budget cut. There's a lot to be said for the risks that we take on a day-to-day basis.
So think about how strong of a word that is, the word family, and how it can get us to motivate us to go to situations that most people wouldn't respond to. Now, having said that, it's a strong motivator within the right context. Again, that's the key here. Like, if I want someone to be effective in this profession, to do what's correct, to do what's expected of them, to save lives, family is great. It builds us together, it motivates us, and it's something that has value for this profession. But having said that, there are some people who know how powerful that word is. And what they do is they shift the context, and now the word gets applied to something to motivate behavior that's in conflict with what's expected of us. Behavior that could be corrupt or unethical. And Russ, do you believe that the word family can be misused as a way to motivate behavior that is against what we expect from each other?
Yeah, of course, neurolinguistics is really powerful. And when we use that word family, and our intention, I hope, most of the time is to mean that in the most positive way. But when we start wondering about, where our motivations lie, where our loyalties lie, that's when, it can start to be detrimental. And family, for all the positives that there are, we know, as we're each in our own families and stuff, that there can be negatives in that. I mean, we've got black sheep in our family, and then we've got, those potential individuals that cause conflict, and then there's rivalries, and there's things like that. And that translates, unfortunately, also into what we're doing in our professional family, in our correctional family. So not everything is necessarily sweetness and light. And that's why we have to really work to establish what our primary loyalty is. And I don't think that you have to look any further than that oath you took. You took an oath, and so did all of your brothers and sisters, though. So there shouldn't be conflict in that. You took that oath to uphold the Constitution, to uphold the laws of the state that you're in, and to carry yourself and be unsullied in everything that you do. So, I think that you have to really know and understand yourself, and know that your directions, that your loyalties lie first to that oath and then to that family.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, Russ, because basically what I'm getting from what you're saying is that we can't accept the word family at surface value. We ourselves have to go in and define what it means to be family to us, so we can identify any shift in that definition when someone tries to misuse it. Is that what you're getting at, Russ?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, there's a conformity that you have to have to, whether you like it or not, to the laws of the United States, to the laws of the state that you're in, and things that are detrimental to that, things that might be, conflictual within your family, things where people might be putting themselves first and not upholding their oath. You can't be part of that. And so there's a definite, line in the sand, and, it's not gray. It's very black and white. And so you have to really understand your priorities, and priority number one has to be upholding the law.
Right. And guys, I want people to remember something first. The family term that's being used is in context with what our professions expected from us. So when we have people that are trying to get us to misuse the word family, it's because they have taken the word family and removed it out of the context of what we're supposed to define family as, which is, as Russ said, it's the law enforcement context, what our job is to protect and serve, hold each other to better and higher expectations. So when people use the word family, it's good for you to have a definition to make that determination of whether, okay, that fits into what family's about. And, I got you, because again, it's in value with what we are aligned with for the agency, what the agency expects from us. And then obviously that same level of expectation trickles down to us at all levels. But it does start at the higher level, what's expected from us in those sworn positions. Now, having said that, that's kind of like, in my mind, the top trickling down. What you don't want is you don't want the word family to be used as a way to connect you to somebody to the point where the behavior that you're committing to has become questionable. But having said that, they're my brother. Brother in what context? Brother in what context? Because having said that, guys, I know we have to have each other's back, but we do have that sworn trust in us to do what's correct, do what is expected of us. So having said that, when someone uses the word family, you have to ask yourself, where is that in context? It is in context of what we're supposed to do to get the job done, or are you use the word family for something selfish, something that now is able, you're trying to get to manipulate me to be, deep in my emotions, and then to commit to something that obviously I don't agree with, the agency wouldn't agree with. And if I don't do it, now the word family has been something as a guilt trip, right? Would you agree? Does that make sense to you, Russ?
Absolutely. And, we really have to, look at ourselves first and foremost, because what we always want to do is, within the confines, within the context of that family and the professionalism that we're supposed to exhibit, we want to be the ones that, instill that culture of excellence, right? Excellence first and foremost. And as great as loyalty is, it's not loyalty at all costs. It's loyalty within the confines and within the bounds of that culture of excellence.
Hey, Russ, you got to say that again, because that's actually kind of like the foundation of what we're discussing. Really break into that. You said, this is great. This is why we have this dialogue. We never know where we're going with it. So I love when it's not prepared. I do. I love when we're just given something and let's run with it and see where our mind goes. You said something that I believe hits home, because people are looking at, you're right, families equated to loyalty. But loyalty in what context? I mean, is it a loyalty that, is to be generalized out? Or is it a loyalty that's specific to within our defined role in the agency we work for? So can you explain that a little more?
Yeah, so just backing up a little bit when I talk about, we want to instill, first of all, that culture of excellence. And then, there's the loyalty, but that loyalty, it can't be unbonded, it can't be unbounded, it can't be limitless. It has to fall within those bounds of excellence, and it has to fall within the law. And so that's where people tend to go wrong. They tend to, look at a situation and think that, that they should exhibit loyalty no matter what at any cost. And when they do that, they abandon their values. And, we want to set the highest values that we possibly can within our profession. And those things, honesty, loyalty is good, right? But then, we have to first and foremost execute our duties. And if we're doing anything where we can't execute our duties in the way that they're prescribed by law, then and according to our oath, then we're putting ourselves in a position where our supposed loyalty to our family is really called into question, because then we're outside the law.
Yeah, I really love what you're saying about the loyalty having these, the boundaries. I don't think people realize that. I think that when you have someone that's trying to manipulate that family bond, they're doing it because they're hoping that the person they're trying to play a game with believes that the family bond can be generalized out, that, it could be used for personal gain. And technically, it's really not. The family bond that we use to motivate the correct behavior is really unselfish in nature. It really is. The family bond is used in what we can do to help each other, not what we can do to just help you. to just what it is for you. Like when I think of the word family, I automatically think of what I can do to help someone else. Someone that's selfish may look at the word family and say, what can they do to help me? If that makes any sense. So here we are, we're using the word family as, how can I help us, the team? How can I help us? And the person that, maybe doing something foolish may look at the word family first by saying, I need help. How can someone just help me? And therefore the motive it could be selfish in nature, but I thought we were brothers. I thought we were sisters. But I like what Russ said. In what context? And you also have to you have to realize something too. Once you have that confirmed definition of what you feel family means in relationship to what's expected of you, because that's the context. That's how it's defined. It's exactly what Russ said. The loyalty comes within this prescribed role. Because again, I as long as you do what's expected of you, the loyalty is going to be there. And that's where the word family comes from. The family comes from the fact that, we're loyal to each other based on what's expected from each other. But the question we always have to ask ourselves when someone says the word family is, who is this connecting it to? Like, is this connecting it to what we need to do, what's expected of us? Or are you asking me to do something that's solely for you and breaks away from what's expected of us in the agency? And Russ, again, if you're going into this profession not truly understanding, guys, if you're in the academy and you're training or you're doing whatever it is, or you're a trainer, an instructor, whatever it is, make sure you don't just throw out the word family without any context. Make sure you give the people an understanding of what the word family is, so when they get into the profession and they're working and someone utilizes it, they have an understanding of, well, that's not family. Because in the end of the day, once you break out of those boundaries, once you break out of what's expected, you're not family anymore. Listen, family also says something else, right? This may be a difference here. Family allows us to forgive sometimes. I get it. But in this profession, because we always have to make sure that our safety is paramount, we may not be able to allow ourselves to forgive certain things. I didn't say, we can't forgive. I get it. But there are going to be certain things that we cannot allow ourselves to forgive, because when people make certain choices that they believe they're only responsible for, it's not. You're going to wind up hurting somebody else, and whatever that choice may be, like, especially if you're getting too close to an inmate, if you're becoming too involved. These are certain things that once the choice has been made, in my mind, there's no turning back. In my mind, there has to be that level of unforgiveness, because that's where the word family matters. That's where it's like, hey, when you come in, I'm not saying it's us versus them, but when you come into this profession, you're either this side or you're that side. There's no middle ground here. I don't care if you're civilian. I don't care if you're custody. You're either on this side of the fence or you're on this side. And the moment you straddle in the middle or you start to lean over, I can't forgive that. I can't forgive that. And when someone goes around and uses family as a way to forgive an action that crosses the line, I'm going to go 0 to 10 in a heartbeat, which just the fact is you didn't have no care or no value for my life the moment that you crossed onto that other side. So I believe the word family also expresses some level of forgiveness, in which my mind, certain things can't be forgiven based on the seriousness of what it is that we do and how their behavior could affect our safety. Would you agree with that, Russ?
Absolutely. And, one thing that I really want to point out is that, your level of loyalty to the family should be such that you would never intentionally put someone in jeopardy to have to make a choice like that, protecting you or protecting their oath. It shouldn't be that case. I've seen instances, where people just assumed or they demanded of someone, hey, I need you to cover for me. I need you to cover this up. I need you to do something that's unethical, immoral, or otherwise against the law. And you know what? Someone that's really truly committed to the family, that really has family loyalties in mind, would never ask that of anyone. You would be expected to carry your own water and to, accept the consequences of what you initiated. It's a big enough responsibility being out there and doing these things where we do often have to step in and save someone from being assaulted, possibly killed, and putting our own safety on the line without, having to, accept the risk of doing something that's completely against the grain of what this profession calls for, which is to uphold your oath in each and every circumstance.
And that's the key, guys. That's the context. That's how we define family. I think that's kind of the summary of our dialogue as we pull to a close, is that we have to go in with an understanding of what family means. And I also believe that if you're in a position where you're being trained or you have a trainer who's next, they got to really define that word family, so you know when the word family is being misused. And then you're comfortable enough to step away knowing that the word family is not in the same level of value that you have. And I'm okay with stepping away now, because what you're asking has nothing to do with us being family. It's more of using the term to manipulate. And at that point, the word has no value to me. So again, the context of the word family does matter. It's not something that should be employed without boundaries. And again, the boundaries are defined through the agency's expectations. Hey, Russ, any closing thoughts?
This profession is exceptionally difficult, but one of the things that we can always do to make it less difficult, besides, just trying to adhere to these family bonds and trying to be there for each other and support each other, is to really, look at the culture that you're steeped in within your specific institution, maybe even within your specific unit. And look at that culture and decide what about it that you could change. You want that culture of excellence to exist. If you have a culture of excellence, everything else becomes that much easier. And so, there's a lot of leaders out there. I'm not talking about brass now. I'm talking about leaders. Leaders can exist at any level. You leaders out there need to take the reins and work toward that culture of excellence.
I love that. Again, guys, a lot of times when people get lost in what's expected is because they truly haven't defined that role. Sometimes we can influence that. We can have a help on that. But for the most part, we also have to take the time inwards and ask us, what does this mean to us as well? How do we apply what's being said to us? And again, the word family is a word that we need in this profession. We need it because it motivates us to do the right thing. But it's such a powerful word that people have also been able to use it to manipulate people to do the wrong thing. So, I mean, it's great to have this powerful word, but you also have to protect it because it also has vulnerabilities. Even Superman had his kryptonite. So having said that, to me, not guarding a word like family and not protecting it to hold the value of what that word really means, that's where we can get lost in this profession. And that's where we wind up finding ourselves doing foolish things. As always, guys, the show is here. So if you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. Bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Stay safe.